Hey guys, it's Kai from Lucas Lane Royals. Hope you're doing well. My super, not so super clutch have all shed out, so it's time to take a second look and hopefully identify their morphs. Alright, so a couple of things real quick. Number one, you have to excuse the mess behind me. I literally just got back from vacation. I landed today and I could not wait to get home and take a look at this clutch. You know, before I left, I knew there were two that still needed to shed out. So while I was on vacation, I was just wondering what they would look like. And I could not wait to get home and take a look. So I'm really excited to be showing this to you. And number two, I'm filming this during the day. I usually film these things during the nighttime when everybody is asleep. But today you might hear some background noise with the family and the kids running around upstairs. So just bear with me. I'll try to edit it as much as I can. But anyway, let's get on to the show. Let me pull out the babies and we'll take a look at them. Okay, so this is actually going to be take 2 of this video. As I expected, there was just way too much noise upstairs with the kids running around. So now they're a little bit calmed down. I can make this video again. This one is obviously the Bell. This is a lesser to lesser. Possible super pastel, possible pastel, possible fire. We'll see what this one proves out to be if I do get a chance to prove it out. The eyes are a little bit big, so if it doesn't heal itself, sometimes the eyes will grow into the head, so to speak, no pun intended. And then in that case, I will try to breed it. But otherwise, this will just be a pet. My son has already claimed it. He says, "Daddy, don't sell this one," so we're going to keep this one. So like I said, this is take 2. Which means that during take 1, I've already gone ahead and sexed them all and made a note card for them, a log sheet. So this one is a yellow belly, very pretty yellow belly. It's got a nice little head stamp. You can see the brightness of this pattern. It's better if I put my hand underneath it. There you guys, you can see the brightness of this pattern. You can see the checkering of the belly right against the belly and the side, and check out the flames on this one. Very nice flames. So on a normal or classic, these flames are typically white or gray. On the yellow belly, it is red or amber. Like I said, there's checkering along the sides, and check out the yellow on this belly. A lot of yellow bellies may not have the yellow. Just because it's called a yellow belly doesn't necessarily mean it has to have the yellow, but this one certainly does, and it's awesome. You can see the yellow belly also busies up the pattern, makes it very wacky. So it's not a typical arch or a typical alien head. And that's that one. Oh, by the way, the bell is a female. And this yellow belly is also a female. This next one I'm going to pull out. This one is a lesser, and I'm going to say Specter. So it could be lesser or yellow belly, but I'm going to call this the Specter just because of the pattern being uniform. It's not as busy, not as wacky. There's some wackiness here and there, but it's a little bit more uniform than busy. Originally, I thought this one might have had pastel. That was probably due to the fact that it was in shed, and so the color pattern was a little bit faded. I was hoping the fade would intensify on the head, but it did not. So I'm going to call this one a lesser Specter, and you can see it's very bright. It's got a lot of blushing on the back. Very pretty. And I did sex this one as well. Let me just double check before I tell you what it is. And this one is a girl. So you guys probably remember that when I did the cleanup video, I think all of them turned out to be girls at that time, but after going through again, popping them again, I did get some males. And this one right here is a male, very bright, very nice contrast. You can see the blushing on its head. It'll probably get a little bit lighter. You can see the flames coming up the sides. Very nice contrast between the yellow orange and the black. And again, you got that flame on the side. You can check out underneath. It doesn't look like the camera's picking it up, but there is some traces of yellow. And so this one does have the yellow belly as well. You can see the busy pattern. You can see the checkering. Mostly underneath, it's like right behind its chin or neck. You can see it right there down there. Very nice. Really like this one. This is a good example of less is more. Just having two jeans, pastel and yellow belly, makes this beautiful contrasting snake. I kind of prefer this over the washed out look, but there's something to be said about stacking on jeans, which I'll show you in a little bit. So this one, like I said, is a boy, pastel yellow belly. Now this one, we're back to girls again. This is a female, and pretty sure this is a fire lesser. Just because a fire and a lesser tends to produce this dorsal stripe. It's pretty uniform. There are some breaks, as you can see here, but for the most part, it's pretty continuous. As far as yellow belly or Specter goes, this little girl is all balled up. I think this is more Specter looking. You can see, well, maybe not this side. This side actually looks more yellow belly because it's all busy. This side, however, looks very much Specter, and there's not that much pattern, not much checkering, so I'm gonna say this one is a Specter, even though it's possibly yellow belly. Alright, I'm not gonna bother this girl too much. She is all balled up. Very pretty, very light colored. I think as she grows, the color will intensify, get brighter. It's kind of typical of what the fire does. I should probably pause for a minute and just explain that I am by no means an expert at identifying these morphs. I'm just trying to do my best based on conversations with other hobbyists, other breeders, pictures that I find online. Just trying to match it up to what I have. And so this one is a boy. I think this is a lesser pastel Specter. Produced something like this last year. Didn't have fire in the mix, so this one might not have fire either. I made a mistake before of claiming something like this was a super pastel just because the head was blushed out, but learned my lesson. It's probably just the genes stacked on each other. So I'm going to say lesser pastel, and just judging from the side pattern and how uniform these alien heads are, I'm also going to say that this is probably or most likely a Specter. Now this one also has the nice dorsal pattern along the back, but again, there's a couple more that I'm going to show you, which I believe to have fire, which is why I'm thinking that this one might not have fire, just because this one's a little bit darker. But otherwise, very nice little snake. Again, this is a boy. Next up is this little boy, another boy. This one looks very much like the dad, and with the dad, I made the mistake of identifying it as a lesser superfly. So this one, I don't believe to be a super pastel. I think this one is a fire or I should say lesser firefly. But then, of course, because of the mom is a super stripe, she's got it passed in either a yellow belly or specter. And being how busy this pattern is, I'm going to call this one a yellow belly. Although if you look here, this kind of looks specter-ish, but I think there's more checkering on the side and the bottom than the other one. So I'm going to call this one as a yellow belly, leaning towards yellow belly. You can see how faded out it is. It's very easy to misidentify this as a super pastel. Again, the father was a lesser firefly, and I called that one a lesser superfly for like the longest time. I didn't produce the father. The father was purchased as a lesser superfly. Not making excuses or anything, but I didn't actually identify it as a lesser superfly. But if I mess up this one, it will be my fault. So I'm going to go with a lesser firefly yellow belly. And this one is the last one, also a boy. And you can probably see why I believe the last one doesn't have super pastel. This one is pretty much the same thing with an extra dose of pastel. So this one probably pretty much got all the genes that it can without being a bell. Obviously, if it was a bell, it would be completely white. So this one has the pastel from the dad, the pastel from the mom, fire from the dad, one of the lesser genes, and then from the mom, I believe he also inherited the yellow belly. Although I am kind of on the fence whether or not this is a yellow belly or Specter, but I'm gonna just call it as a yellow belly for now. Of course, if I post this up for sale, I'll make sure to state that it could be yellow belly or Specter. But looking at how busy it is, especially down here, the side pattern near the tail end, it looks very yellow belly-ish. The belly is too washed out to even see anything, no checkering or anything. So it's kind of tough to say whether they're yellow belly or Specter, especially when there's lesser involved, for me at least. But this one has very nice pattern, very what is the word? Yeah, it's got a nice pattern. The last one I showed, it's very washed out right in this area. I don't know if you noticed it. It's pretty cool looking. This one, again, super pastel fire lesser, and it's a boy. I will be putting up for sale some of the hatchlings from this clutch. You can check down in the description for their combos and their morphs and their gender. You can also visit my store on Morph Market for more information about each snake and their prices. So if you're new to this channel and you want to be informed of future uploads, make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell. As always, thanks for watching, please share, and I'll see you guys next time.